My name is Claire Donovan, and I walked into my sister's wedding alone. No partner. No entourage. No buffer. Not because I didn't have someone I could bring, but because I wanted to feel everything. Unfiltered, unmasked, unshielded. That walk from the entrance to the ballroom felt like walking into a courtroom. And I knew the verdict before I even took my seat. Guilty of being 33. Unmarried, and successful in ways no one in that room valued. I caught the stares, felt the weight of glances dressed in pity, envy, and confusion. Saw the whispering lips and eyes darting to my empty left hand. She came alone. Someone hissed softly near the gift table. Still no one, another replied, like I was a bad investment that never paid off. My sister Madison didn't even turn her head. She was too busy playing princess, wrapped in lace and praise, surrounded by her new family like she'd just won the lottery. And me, I was the side note. The fine print, the black dress no one wanted in the photo album. I could have left, God knows. I've done it before, slipped out of rooms that didn't want me. But something in my chest said stay. So I did. The room shimmered, in gold and white drones buzzing overhead, violinists near the stage, champagne towers high enough to make a toddler dizzy. And all around me, her new in-laws polished. Loud, moneyed people with country club confidence and zero curiosity. One of the man-aunt maybe nudged the woman beside her and said, "That's the sister, right? The one who's always traveling or building something." They laughed. Not loud enough to cause a scene, just loud enough for me to hear. I adjusted the napkin on my lap, kept my eyes steady. I've negotiated 7-figure deals across 4 continents, but somehow, this felt harder. I don't think they even saw me as a person. To them, I was the cautionary tale. The ambitious one. The lonely one. They didn't know the nights I spent coding in hotels in Berlin. Didn't see the patents, with my name on them. Didn't care that I own more equity than their sons ever will. To them, I was just the unmarried sister who couldn't even find a +1. And then, it happened. A man from the head table stood, older silver hair, perfect posture, wearing a deep navy suit and quiet authority. I recognized him. Henry Blackstone. The groom's uncle, chairman of one of the most powerful venture firms in the country. A man whose signature could swing the stock market before lunch. He looked straight at me. And then he bowed. A full, intentional, reverent bow. The entire room froze. You could hear the click of a phone camera. A fork hit a plate. Someone gasped, and suddenly every eye turned to me. My sister's in-laws. Their smirks vanished. Their posture changed. The woman they thought came alone was no longer invisible. I didn't move. Not at first, because I needed everyone in that ballroom to feel it. The silence, the shift, the undeniable truth. They had misjudged me. Henry straightened. Then he walked slowly, deliberately across the marble floor. Past Madison. Past her groom, Brad. Past the table where his own sister-in-law whispered about my ring finger just minutes earlier. He stopped right in front of me. The air thinned. He extended his hand and said, "Claire Donovan, I've followed your work for years. It's an honor to finally meet you." My chest tightened, but I kept my voice level. "Likewise, Mr. Blackstone." His smile didn't fade. "Your keynote at the Boston Tech Forum changed the way we think about neural mapping. You probably saved us 3 years of R&D. I felt the oxygen rush back into the room, except now, it was mine, not theirs. The same in-laws who muttered "poor thing" earlier, now looked like they'd bitten into a lemon. Henry turned to the nearest server. "Club soda, please. No lime." Then to me, "Would you mind stepping out with me for a moment? I think this room needs a second to recalibrate." I followed him through the tall glass doors and onto a wraparound terrace overlooking the lake. The air was cool, sharp, honest. He didn't say anything at first, just sipped his soda. Then, without turning, said, "You remind me of my late wife." I blinked. Smart. Sharp edges. People called her difficult, but she wasn't. She was precise. And decades ahead of everyone else. I swallowed the knot forming in my throat. "Your sister's family. They see the world in glitter and filters. It's not their fault entirely, but it's not your problem either." I glanced at him. "They've always seen me as a threat. They didn't understand." He nodded slowly. "Because you weren't built to be understood by small minds." I could have cried, but I didn't. Because I needed to hear it more than I needed to feel it. Back inside, I watched them watching us. My parents stiff. My sister's eyes sharp with confusion. When I returned to my seat, The temperature in the room had changed. Not warmer, just clearer. People sat straighter. A few stood when I passed, unsure what was appropriate anymore. Madison walked over, bouquet in hand, fake smile frozen to her face. "What was that?" she whispered. "That," I said quietly. "Was someone seeing me for who I actually am?" Her jaw tightened. "You couldn't let me have one day." I laughed once, small, dry. "Madison, you've had the whole decade." She didn't reply. She walked away to quickly, heels tapping like warning shots across the floor. Then came the toasts. Brad's father stood first. Talked about love and future and legacy. But at the end, he looked at me. "And of course, to all the family who made it tonight, even the ones who prefer lab coats to lipstick." Laughter, small but loud enough. Until Henry Blackstone rose again. "Let me add something," he said, raising his glass. The room silenced. There's a difference between being born into a family and becoming the kind of person others want in theirs. Claire Donovan has built more value in this world than anyone in this room has inherited. She deserves more than our tolerance. She deserves our respect. He looked at me. "So if we're raising glasses, mine is to her." This time, no one laughed. This time, they all watched, and for once, they saw me. I didn't raise my glass. I didn't smile. I just sat there, one hand resting on the tablecloth, the other wrapped gently around the stem of my untouched drink, because there's something more powerful than applause, more transformative than validation. Being seen, really seen, not as a problem to fix, not as a phase to outgrow, but as someone whole. I didn't look at my parents right away, but I could feel them squirm. Like the floor beneath them was shifting, like the stories they'd told themselves for years no longer held up. My mom's face was frozen in the kind of smile that doesn't touch the eyes. My dad blinked like he was trying to remember what my company even did. They didn't know if they should feel proud or ashamed, and that's when I realized something I hadn't let myself admit for years. I didn't care anymore. For so long, I had wanted them to ask about the patents, the awards, the breakthroughs. I wanted them to show up just once for a product launch or a press event the way they used to show up for Madison's cheer competitions. But now, I didn't want their attention. I wanted my piece. That wedding. It was supposed to be Madison's fairy tale, a curated chapter in our family scrapbook. The golden daughter marrying into the perfect family. And me. I was supposed to be the ghost. At the back, unmarried, unmatched, unremarkable. But I wasn't a ghost. I was the architect of my own story. Of real things that moved real people forward. And I was done handing blueprints to people who never wanted to build with me. Later that evening, the music picked up again. The dance floor filled, a buzz of expensive joy resumed. That's when my mother approached, tentative, like she was walking on ice. She looked me over like she was seeing me clearly for the first time. "You look beautiful tonight," she said, soft, almost shy. "Thank you," I replied then. After a pause, "We didn't know about all that, about Henry, about the work you've done." I nodded. "I know." She hesitated. "We're proud of you, Claire." I met her eyes. Calm, direct. "Why now?" She blinked. "What? Are you proud because someone powerful praised me, or because you finally believe I'm worth being proud of?" She didn't answer. She just reached for my hand, held it. I let her. For a second, then I let go. As I walked out onto the front steps of the venue, Madison followed. "I didn't know Uncle Henry knew you," she said. Her voice was tight, confused. "You never asked," I replied. "That's not fair." "No, it's just true." She looked away. "You always made me feel like I wasn't enough." I tilted my head. "And you, Madison, always made me feel like I was too much." She didn't follow me after that. Didn't call out. Didn't offer closure. And maybe that was the closure. I left the way I arrived, alone. But this time, the weight wasn't heavy. It was light, like something had lifted. Outside, beneath the canopy of string lights and distant stars, I stood, still. Guests walked past, tipsy and glowing. One man, younger, awkward, approached nervously. "Excuse me," he said. "I didn't realize you were that Claire Donovan." I looked at him, calm. "You still don't," he stammered, apologized, walked off. A few minutes later, Henry came out again, tie loosened, hands in his pockets. He didn't say much at first, just stood beside me. It was the most honest silence I'd had with anyone in years. Eventually, he said, "I wasn't trying to start drama back there." I nodded. "You weren't. You made a correction." He smiled faintly. "Some illusions deserve to be broken." Then he turned to me. I'm launching something new. A think tank meets lab. We need someone who doesn't just innovate, but rebuilds. From the ground up. I want your name on the founding charter. I didn't answer right away. Not out of pride, but because for the first time in a long time I had the freedom to choose. Not out of resentment, not for revenge, just because I was ready. Let's talk Monday, I said. He nodded once and left. No big goodbye. No handshakes. Just quiet respect. I drove home alone that night. Music off. Window half down. The cold air brushed my face like a reminder. I was real. I was here. And I never needed their permission to be. I didn't get the kind of family that clapped at graduations. Didn't get the kind of sister who cheered me on. But I got something else, clarity, and sometimes, the most powerful moment in your life isn't when the world finally claps for you, it's when you stop needing them to.